Assalamualaikum and hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, subscribe. And if you have been subscribed for a long time, thank you. Your likes and views really help me a lot. So let's get on with the go-karting event we have planned for today.
Why?
So at the start here, you can
They're
see
excited,
my
they're
dad
scared.
and Kisha. She seems to be a little bit nervous because honestly, I don't know why. Maybe it's because of her height not being able to reach the pedals, or maybe it's the
But don't press at the
overwhelming
same time.
excitement that motorsports brings to people.
As fast as you want. You try it for 10 minutes and then if you don't like it, tak payah lagi.
Here you can see my dad trying to convince
Cubalah Kisha tekan.
Kisha that it's all going to be okay, when in reality it is going to be all okay, because you can go as fast as you want or you can go as slow as you want, just as my dad said. Me and Iman are having a laugh, saying that if Kisha crashes, it will be funny.
Okay, so
And ultimately, Kisha decides not to go into the go-kart race because, honestly, she just pulled out of the event because when she wore the helmet, she just started crying. Here you can see Iman confidently sitting in his cart, and we're off on the first couple laps. We have the long straight. I take a wide line here. And then here we can see Iman a couple laps later. It's having fun, I can see that. The drone footage was provided by my dad. And here you can see me up a couple turns. Now back to the main straight, going at warp speed, apparently. Iman cruising along. And I'm off the exit of the first turn, into the second turn. Iman's way ahead of me. Going into the fourth turn. Iman cautiously going through the turns. I'm at my fifth turn, going into turn 6. Magically, Iman appears in front of me. And I pass him on the outside, brake right before the 5-meter mark. I don't know if that's meters or yards, probably yards. Here we are, rounding the last turn. Iman shortly behind me. Here we go into warp speed again, down the straight. Braking right at a 10 yard, or 10 meter, I don't know. We'll call it yard for now. Going into turn 2. Turn 3. There was a doorbell right now, so I'm gonna go take that, and I'll be right with you. Okay, so that was a package for my dad, and we're continuing off right from me trying to make a move on Iman through the outside again, passing by. Braking right after the 5-yard mark that time. Iman trailing behind me. Very cautious lines, as opposed to my uncautious and ultimately slow lines. As you will see, when me and my dad race, I get absolutely dropped. We are entering the pit lane for the end of the first session. And you can see here my dad. He has much more experience than me regarding this. And we're off to catch up to Iman on the first turn. Sound cuts off here because the camera cut off unexpectedly. And my dad leaving the grid as well. Right behind Iman here. He's going much faster than he was in the first session. And I take the inside. very good at race etiquette, giving space. And here we are on the second straight. I'm going through the last corner. My dad passes me right there. And he slowly starts to reel me in. As you can see here, the gap has come extremely close. He's basically right on my tail right now. I take the outside line on the final turn, gives me a better exit for the straight. But I don't really capitalize on it because I take the outside line on that long sweeping curve. Now my dad reels me in even more, almost bumper to bumper there. Moving on throughout the track, going on the second straight, into the corner. He's just not leaving my tail. And on the final corner, I take the outside line, he takes the inside. He's on my tail for now, and the gap opens up a little bit, and then it'll close off right here. And I give him space because I don't want to cause an accident. Moving on, I stay right on my dad's tail, but eventually I will get dropped because that's just how my dad is. He's just a good racer. And here we are coming up on Iman on the second straight. I'm right on my dad's tail. The gap opens up a little bit throughout these turns. And we are right on Iman's tail right now. Alright, little side note here. While my dad was behind Iman, he actually signaled me to slow down because he wanted to start on the grid together so we can do a proper race. But I thought he was just telling me to slow down a little bit because Iman was in front of him and he thought like I couldn't see him or something. And then that led to me just overtaking my dad, and I got a big gap out of it that eventually shrunk down back to him being on my tail again. If this were the two cars. Right. Continuing on. Going through the final turn. Iman makes a big recovery there. What a moment that was. As we go on the main straight into the first turn, I take a little bit of more of an inside line, and we skip to this second straight away. My dad reels me in even though he was blocked by Iman a couple seconds ago. He just continuously reels me in and goes for a big lunge there, almost spinning out. I went defensive right on the apex, which is pretty dangerous to do. And as you can see, my dad reels me in effortlessly as I take almost the worst possible lines. Here he is, almost bumper to bumper again. It looks like he's going for lunges at every turn. Here we are going through the back straight. Give him space again on the inside, and I begin to chase him down. And this is where I start to wisen up and follow his lines, so I don't drive like an idiot. As you can see, I'm getting absolutely dropped behind him as we go into warp speed right now. He's taking the inside line. I take a slightly narrower line, but still not to the point where I gain a lot of speed, and I cannot reel him in. Iman there having kart problems. As we go through the back straight, entering warp speed, and braking right at the 10-yard mark. Taking a wide line through here. And the gap stays the same. I made up some time at this straight because I took a narrower line to turn 1. And now I'm almost at his bumper. Iman's still recovering from the cart problems as he is in front of us. Now the three of us into the back straight. Bump into my dad there, had to let off the throttle because I had a much better exit throughout that turn. And I accelerated pretty much into the back of his cart. Here we are going through the final corner. Number 3, going through the main straight. 3 abreast, my dad is laughing his wheels off as he takes the inside with a huge kamikaze dive bomb right into the inside. Takes the position into P1. As I follow his lines meticulously, trying to gain on him. As we go through the back straight, braking right after the 10-yard mark, taking a much narrower line now because my dad's in front of me and I can see what he's doing. Coming through to the final corner, and we're going to warp speed again. Activating human DRS by leaning forward. My dad turns in the cart very, very beautifully. Chasing him down. The gap is closing slightly as he slips up a little bit on that turn. Now we go into the vertical cam footage taken by Kisha. Rounding the turns, Iman following not that far behind us as he's taking his own line and his own pace. It's pretty fast. There he is. And me and my dad, as we finish our lap, I'm right behind him. Probably could have overtook him with one more lap. I don't know. Maybe. And there's my dad celebrating his win, as he always does. Because I always lose on the first couple laps, couple sessions. It takes me like 2 or 3 sessions to beat him. And that's the end of the races. Thank you all for joining me today. And I'll see you next time. Check out my other videos. It's pretty good, in my opinion.